Well, live from Miami, Fort Lauderdale, the Jersey Boys Sports Talk. August 19th, 2021. This is Santiago Leon. I am subbing in for Mr. Victor Orocho. He is out on assignment and he'll be back next week. He might show up tonight a little bit later, but we'll see what happens. But please, before we start, subscribe to all our channels. YouTube, Twitch.tv, Twitter, and Apple Podcasts. And if you're an Apple Podcast, you can search for Jersey Boys Sports Talk and subscribe. And if you guys can't make it live, you can listen to it later and then maybe, tweet us back what you guys thought. And you can do that on Apple Podcasts and also on Spotify. So if you're a Spotify fan, you can go and search Jersey Boys Sports Talk. And also leave us a review, rating and review will help us out tremendously. We'll get the word out there. And visit thesportscast.net for the latest and greatest. A lot going on in news. A lot of signings are still happening throughout this past week. Seattle Seahawks have signed a major contract with one of their players. And we're definitely seeing the season coming back alive. And what I've noticed a lot is there's a lot of teams getting vaccinated, so the numbers are creeping almost 100%. One team made 100%. We'll talk about that later. And visit our website, see the latest. And but yeah, anyways, joining us on our weekly co-host, Byron Jones. Welcome back to the Jersey Boys Sports Talk.
Peace and love to everybody.
Peace to you. Well, you were telling me you were going on a peaceful journey today. Tell us about that.
I was, my better half decided that she wanted to go pick something up all the way in Amish country in Lancaster, PA. Rode all the way out there from where I live, 2 hours to pick this up. I know people probably never say it's a little portable washing machine. Now, mind you, we got a washing machine in the house. We have one, but she wanted a little portable one that somebody was selling all the way in Amish land. It's from 1964, outside washing machine, a Hoover. So we rode 2 hours to go pick this thing up and drive all the way back home to where we live for me to unload this 125-pound thing all by myself, put it on the ground, for her to figure out if it works or not. So that's the highlight of my day. That's the journey started at 11 o'clock this morning, and I didn't get home until 6.
You made it. Did you tell your wife, hey, I have a show tonight, I got to catch?
Well, she was trying to, then she, kind of buttered me up, because then we stopped at our favorite Jewish deli. So, food, that helps, that made it all better. And, I wasn't as angry, once I got, a little corned beef and, pastrami sandwich in it, then I was all good.
Wow. That is amazing. You could get some good deli food, of course, in Philadelphia. Are you a big cheesesteak fan?
Yes, but not with the cheese whiz.
I've heard that. That doesn't sound good, to be honest.
No cheese whiz for me. I'll pass on the cheese whiz. Cheese, onions, mushrooms, yes. Cheese whiz out the can, no way.
Forget. Now, do you add ketchup to your sandwich?
No ketchup goes on there.
Okay, yeah, because I've seen people add ketchup or they add some extra salt and pepper. I've seen that.
Or peppers, usually people put on there, banana peppers, that kind of stuff. But all the other cheese with, no, I don't disrespect it.
It's funny because I teach a class, or I teach at a school in Philadelphia, but obviously online. I'm here in Miami, and all my students are in Philadelphia, and they tell me, yeah, go to this spot. And it seems like they have cheesesteaks every week, but
yeah, they're all over the place. The famous one, the Pachinginos, everybody goes to Pachinginos. And the funny thing about they never close. They're always open. You can go there in the middle of the night in a snowstorm or whatever, and you can get one. There's always a cop at not Pat's. Yeah, at Geno's. There's always cops over there. For some reason, they're not at Pat's, and it's only across the street. You can look across the street, because when my cousin came to visit, we decided, we went down, we wanted to go try it, because I had never had it. So He big guy too. He's my cousin, big dude. So he's like, you know what? We'll get one big one over at Pat's. We'll eat that. Then we'll cross the street, and then we'll get from Gino's, and then we'll have that too. So we sat there and ate the big old stuff. Oh my god!
Oh my gosh, you were
Blow up.
stuffed.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Now, which is better, in your opinion?
Pat's.
Okay, I've heard that too.
Because Pat's chops there, the meat up. The other one's kind of, chop it up. All that.
So you're saying the most important ingredient is the meat?
Yes.
I agree.
Yes. And the rolls are different.
The rolls too.
Yeah, the rolls are different for some reason, and I never really realized it until like between here and then where I live. I lived in Jersey, and like the roll over here is like a softer roll, which is hoagie, a softer, and then in Jersey is the roll is a little bit more crustier, over there. But that's the difference between with all the stuff going on.
And they probably say like the water makes the bread taste good.
Well, you really don't want to drink the water in Philadelphia. It's called the special name, Schuylkill Punch. It has a taste. It has like water that has a taste to it. It was weird the first time I had it, and I'm like, it's a little tasty here. So we got filtered water is the only thing that goes through his house.
I've never. It's probably been years I've ever drank tap water.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, you don't want to drink tap water in Philadelphia.
Usually from a water bottle or from a filtered water pitcher, whatever. But yeah, I am careful because things can happen afterwards.
Yeah, the water, for some reason, the Schuylkill Punch, just so you know what it's called in Philadelphia, and it's special. And because the first time I had it, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the water. I was like, why is this water got like floaties, in the water and stuff? And it was just, I'm like, this is not good. I don't think I better do this. So we've been drinking filtered water here for decades.
Yeah, I would definitely agree, especially in Philadelphia. Well, we're going to cover the Giants' offensive and defensive teams. But before we get to that, did you see the preseason game between the Jets and the Giants?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that mess. Yeah. Zach Wilson did not look too bad, the quarterback for the Jets, even though, it's half speed and they're not going to throw a lot of exotic looks at him and everything, but he did look pretty good. And then when we flip over to the New York Giants, the offensive line, like I've been telling Mr. Victor, is absolutely awful.
Yeah. And the Giants did not start any of their starters. So there was no Daniel Jones, no Saquon, and whoever else they have there.
Galladay, he didn't play. Slayton, Kadarius Toney is MIA still. Nobody knows what's wrong with him. Up here, the number one pick. But
do you think we'll see more of them this weekend?
Probably a couple of them like filter in, but I think like mainly like the third game, like back in the day, the third game, all of them play. They probably, they'll probably play deep into, the third quarter. And then, hopefully nobody gets hurt. But the third game is going to be where you're going to see most of them. You're not going to see Saquon. You're not going to see Galladay, the big money guy. But for the most part, they're going to play. They're going to play a long time.
Now, you play professionally with Minnesota. Back then, was preseason also lame as it is today?
Pretty much the same. The same way, but like prior to when I was playing, they used to play, I think they used to play 5 games at one time, 5 or 4 or 5, 5. And then they changed with the 4. And then it's always been where, you get to the third game. The third game is like a practice game for the real game. So, all the stars are going to play. And then the fourth game, in the preseason, most likely they're not going to play because they don't want anybody to get injured before, the season starts. And the fact that they don't want, that's mainly for guys that are on the bubble, as far as going to get cut or whatever, and that might be their one last final shot, to show what they can do, in that last preseason game. A lot of people saved and a lot of people didn't.
Yeah. And that's something that, that we got to be, I don't know if sensitive is the right word, but it is those games for those people that want to make it into the team or make it into the practice squad. Practice squad members make some good, decent money.
So I wish I could get some of that money. We didn't have that back then. I'd take that money right now.
Yeah. So, like I said, there's been players that have made the team because of the preseason, and they're playing their butts off. And of course, you're also seeing like the new quarterbacks, like the rookie quarterbacks meshing in, or the quarterbacks that got transferred in, like Sam Darnold.
Right.
Is he going to perform well in Carolina? Which is an interesting topic I've been hearing this past week. Is he the man? Is he good?
They're going to be all in with him this year. They're going to see what he's going to do this year. But if he's not, I could see Carolina moving on from it, because it's really not going to cost them out. Just moving on, because there's a bunch of like 4 or 5 quarterbacks next year. They're probably first round talent. They even have the one kid that's in North Carolina. What's his name? Sam Howell, I think, from North Carolina.
I think so. Yeah,
is one of the top picks, and Spencer Rattler, the kid from Oklahoma. They just won at USC. Carson, a kid at Nevada, I think. That's like a top 5 quarterback probably for next year, but we'll see. But right now they could always walk away from if he doesn't do well this year.
Here's my Dolphins minute. I think Tua had a great performance this past weekend. He threw good. Now I've been hearing that his starting wide receivers won't be available week 1 or something. But this is a do or die for Tua this season. It feels like it, but
yeah, they seem like another team that because I think they probably have a lot of draft pick stockpile for next year too.
Yeah,
so they could also move along if he's not the guy. I don't see why not. You figure he's got Jalen Waddle. He's got him. He's got his guy, and they do have a bunch of other good receivers and stuff. So, and a tight end too. But
Mike Gesicki, I think he's the real deal.
Yes. Yeah, he's a top 10 tight end. He is on my list wherever it is. But
yeah,
Tua has to do something this year. If he doesn't, he's done.
I know. Like the NFL now, it's like if you're not doing it the first season, then you're done, and you become like Josh Rosen. 2 years later, you're cut.
Yeah, but with Tua, was it and Justin Riley should know this, but the system that they had in Alabama, or the fact that he was thrown to 3 or 4 number 1 picks on that team, was it them more than him? The only way you're going to see is if he had the same kind of talent that he had at Alabama. So far, he's got the one guy. He has one good receiver. I forgot the kid's name, and the tight end. So
yeah, and like I said, like a lot of these college quarterbacks. Or these players that come from big teams, they're used to playing with blue chippers, offensive line, top of the country, wide receivers. But then you go to the NBA, and NFL, you're not going to get a all-star cast right off the bat. You're going to have some bad players. You're going to have one good wide receiver, but you're not going to have 4 good wide receivers.
Yeah, but when you make it to the NFL, you're the best of the best, regardless. Whatever school you went to, or whatever division you played in, they're there for a reason. They are professional athletes, and the difference with college is, in college, they got to keep you, because you're on scholarship. You're going to get cut or whatever, craziness. But in the NFL, if you don't perform, you're out the door. You're done.
Yeah, that's something that is quite different now. And, hey, we hope for best for Tua. I'm a Tua fan. I like him. I actually spoke to his trainer about a couple of weeks ago here locally, and it says he's looking good. Obviously, he's biased. Of course, he's going to say he's looking good. But he looks a little more bulkier, and hopefully that will prevent him from getting injured, because that's just one of his main issues.
Well, maybe that's the difference, though. You figure, NFL now, he's training just to play football all the time. He doesn't have to worry about going to school and all this other stuff. So he just has to concentrate on that. And that happens with a lot of those guys. The first year, they're, whatever, like Daniel Jones. When we had Daniel Jones the first year, he was probably about 225 or whatever. The second year when he came back, you can look at him and see the difference that these guys, that now they're, in a pro program, they're lifting the weights, they're eating the right foods, and all they're doing is thinking about football. The first and second year, the third year, their bodies change. They get bigger, some of these guys.
Big time. And yeah, looking forward to what's going to happen with these rookies or these sophomore players, and looking forward towards the season. Pretty hyped up. A few more weeks. Of course, we got preseason. They're becoming fun. I'm looking at them a little closely. Anyways, let's get into the Giants' offense and defense. You want to go offense first or defense?
We'll go offense first.
Let's go offense. Okay. So you mentioned wide receivers. You ranked them in order, right? Is this how it's ranked?
What do you have?
I got for okay. Now I understand. Wide receiver 2, Darius Slayton, Austin Mack, Alex Bachman, and Matt Cole.
Matt Cole's like a recent signee. They just signed him probably a week or two ago. So most likely he's probably a body in the for the team now. But he won't be sticking around.
Interesting. Wide receiver 3, Sterling Shepard, John Ross. Oh, okay. Now I got this Excel sheet right. I apologize. Let's go wide receiver 1.
Okay.
Kenny Galladay, Kadarius Toney, CJ Board, and Damian Willis.
Well, Galladay is still hurt with the pulled hammy or whatever's going on with him. So you probably won't see him until the beginning of the season. Kadarius Toney is MIA. Nobody's seen him. They had a scrimmage today against the Cleveland Browns, the Giants. He was on the sideline. That was the first sighting they've had of him in 2 or 3 weeks. He's been out. Originally, he was out with the COVID. He's on that list, and he really hasn't done anything in practice. CJ Board is basically, for special teams, a gunner. On the special team with the punt team, and he does that. And Damian Willis, they just signed him, off the, I think, San Francisco list, so he'll hang around for a while.
Will Kenny Galladay be ready by week 1?
Well, it depends on his hammy. Wide receivers are real picky about their bodies and everything, so you never know. A hammy could be 2 weeks, it could be 6 weeks, it could bother him the whole season. It just depends on how this guy's body, and he has been hurt in the past, so we'll see if he's going to be available for day 1 against Denver.
Wide receiver 3, Sterling Shepard, John Ross, Dante Pettis, and David Stills.
Let's see. John Ross might be that. Remember him? He came from Cincinnati Bengals. He was the #1 pick. He's the one that ran a 4.22 40 fast. He might get cut.
Interesting.
Because the one David Sills, the last one, he played at West Virginia, and I think originally he was a quarterback at USC, and he transferred to West Virginia, and he was a great receiver. He's a big receiver. He's very talented. Last year he got hurt. I think he hurt his foot, so he was out all last year, and he was going to make the team last year, and then he's doing his thing again this year. So I see him. My opinion that he's going to make the team, and they're going to cut John Ross.
And guys, if you want to call in to have any comments, call us in on 312-626-6799. You can see the number in the back of my head. Meeting ID 8880-6981-3140. Definitely call in and share your thoughts. Okay, let's go into tight end. We got, of course, Evan Ingram, awesome player. Kyle Rudolph. Wow, Kyle Rudolph from the Minnesota. Caden Smith and Ryson John.
And Kyle Rudolph hasn't suited up either. He's been on the PUP list. He hasn't participated since he's been there because he had foot surgery. They knew he had foot surgery before they signed him. They signed him anyway, and it's still lingering and jagging along. And he still hasn't suited up, and he's still standing on the sideline. I guess him and Tony are being buddies on the sideline, holding each other's hands or whatever they're doing. Right.
Tight end positions become more important lately. Feels like in the NFL.
Yes. Yeah. Who started that big trend? The New England Patriots. Might as well throw it out there when they had Gronk and that guy that did all those things, Hernandez.
Yeah, and Aaron Hernandez. Now they got Hunter Henry this year. I think that's going to be huge.
Well, they have him and Janu Smith. They signed 2 big time tight ends, so they're probably going to go back to kind of sort of what they did back in the day when they had those 2 with these 2 running back, 2 tight ends. So they're probably going to be a lot better than New England, a lot better than people think they're going to be.
But we'll see who'll be throwing the ball there.
Oof. Let's see. Is it going to be Cam? or is it going to be Mac Jones?
Mighty Mac.
I don't see him. I don't see him starting the beginning of the year because that's Belichick. I don't see a rookie starting for him.
You gotta look at the trends. You're right. Okay, the other tight end. I guess this is the other set of tight ends for the Giants: Cole Hikutina, Nakia Griffin-Stewart, and Jake Hausman.
Out of those three, the Cole probably make it, and Jake Hausman will probably make it if they go with 4 tight ends. Somebody's going to be out. But Hausman's like a big giant tight end because the other one that they had, Tulo, I think his name was, he tore his Achilles tendon. He's built like this guy. This guy's big. He's like 6'7", 250, 260-pound blocking tight end that they're going to need. Maybe they can move him to tackle or guard or whatever, but I doubt it. But so they got a very good group of tight ends. So we'll see with them.
Offensive tackle Andrew Thomas, Nate Solder, and Jackson Barton. Byron, how do you feel about this set of offensive tackles?
Well, allegedly, Andrew Thomas has cleaned up, his ankle. He had ankle problems toward last year. That's created all the problems that he had, as far as not being able to block anybody and just basically being awful last year. Nate Solder, opted out last year, with medical, because of with COVID, and the Jackson Barton guy was awful in the game the other day. So it ain't looking pretty over there.
Not looking pretty in New York. Right tackle Matt Pearl and Nate Solder.
Yeah, poor Nate's going to be the swing tackle, but hopefully, the kid Matt Pearl is like from UConn, and he's a big kid. He's like 6'7", like 380 pounds, 318 pounds. He bulked up too from last year to this year, and hopefully, he could do his thing. But he got blown up too when they played the Jets. He wasn't too good, even though he played a couple series. It wasn't pretty.
Let's go running back. This set of running backs: Saquon Barkley, Devontae Booker, Corey Clement, Gary Brightwell, and Sandro Plascom, but only one stands out.
That's right, Saquon, and he's still on the sidelines. We'll just put this armor suit on and just sit over here. Don't let anybody touch him. Don't look at him. Don't mess with him. Let him do his thing. As far as getting his condition, because he's not going to play at all. Preseason game. It's still kind of iffy. They're saying around here if he's going to play the first game.
How many games do you think he'll play in the regular season?
12.
That's a good amount. 17. That's a good amount. For fantasy football fans, they should get him. I know.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
It's rough. He's so good.
But me and Victor, we get into this all the time. And, and I know I harp on it. If the offensive line does not block, they're going to be just like even his rookie year. They were on him so fast. Most of the yards that he got was after contact, or he's that much better and good, better than anybody, doing what he does, that he got most of that stuff on his own, because that line, when they get pushed back, he's not even getting a chance to, to go, the momentum to go forward, and it's not pretty sometimes. And Daniel, Danny Mr. Fumbles. Same thing with him. If they don't block, a quarterback is not worth 50 cents if he's throwing from his back.
Wow. Yeah. Anyways, that's a big debate how many games or how healthy can Saquon. But I like Byron's optimism. I'll take 12. That's not bad. I'll take him for fantasy if he plays 12. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
And then they cut the quarterback of Clayton Thorson. He was the third quarterback with the Giants. They cut him. He was that bad the other day in the game that they cut him, and they signed another kid, Brian Lewerke or something like that. He used to play at Michigan State. So they signed another guy and cut the other
Brian Lewerke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him.
So as you mentioned, quarterbacks, they got Daniel Jones, Mike Glennon, who I've seen him play for the Bucs previously, and I think the Jaguars, and Brian Lewerke. Jones has that safe, doesn't he?
He better stay well all year, because Glennon, He was awful too against the Jets. I think they were like 5 for 23 or some crazy number passing between the two of them. So if they have to go in a game and hope Mike Glenn is going to win the game for them, they haven't.
Breaking, Mackie Jones is playing for the Patriots right now in the preseason game against, I think, the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
But the Eagles are playing. What are you playing? Just look at it.
No, yeah, playing the Eagles right now. They're up 13-0.
Okay.
And I heard Jalen Hurts is not feeling well, so he couldn't play tonight.
No, they had Flacco out there. And, the center went to hike the ball to him, and the ball flew probably about 15 yards the other direction, and that's how New England got the first touchdown.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Centers, Nick Gates, Jonathan Harrison, and Brett Heggy.
Well, Gates played last year. He should be okay. He's a converted tackle guard, so he did a good job. Last year. Harrison is a free agent pickup they got, for another body. Hopefully Gates can stay together and not have to go to the backup. And Heggy, I think, came from the University of Florida. And, he's an undrafted priority free agent. So it most likely he's going to make the team.
And then let's see. I think we're done with the offensive team for the Giants. How you feel? Okay, so far, how you feel about the Giants offensive team before we get head into the defense?
They have the pieces. The pieces are there. But they've got him and so determined that, he doesn't want to, look like an idiot for not addressing the offensive line is what they should have done, but they didn't. They didn't draft not one offensive lineman. So he's gonna ride or die with the guys that he drafted or signed this year. If they don't block, it's gonna be a long season.
It's gonna be a long season. I hope the best for Daniel Jones, of course. Fumbling the ball is one of the things that you got to deal with. But anyways, let's go to the defense. Left defensive ends: Dexter Lawrence, B.J. Hill, David Moa, and Elijah Qualls.
Yeah, Qualls is like a new sign-up, from the Eagles. They signed another camp body. The big man is Dexter Lawrence. I think he's going to be able to breakout season. He's going to be, just like the other guy on the other side, disruptive force. He's a big man. I think he's 6'5", like 350. He's big.
I've heard about that guy. Yeah, he's really big. He's huge and he's pretty good. Nose tackles: Austin Johnson and Shelton.
And Shelton came from New England, and he was a former number one pick. But right now they have the other guy, Austin Johnson, listed as the number one nose guard right now.
Right defensive ends: Leonard Williams, Raymond
Johnson
III, and Willie Henry.
Yep. Leonard Williams, there you go. He got paid the big bucks. He's got to keep working on what he did last year. Just keep carrying over, because right now he's one of the highest paid defensive linemen in football, Leonard Williams.
Linebackers: Lorenzo Carter, Ifedi Ogundimbo. I've heard of him. He's good. Trent Harris and Cam Brown.
Yeah, Lorenzo, that's the Georgia kid. They drafted. He had hurt his, I think it was shoulder or Achilles. No, I think it was a shoulder. One or the other he hurt last year. So they're expecting big things from him. The guy under him, which I'll figure out his name later on, he came from Minnesota. So he was signed. They signed him, and he's not a bad pickup at all. He might end up starting. Who knows by the end of the year?
Okay, you I believe Victor, you have these initials LILB. I know LB means linebacker, but what does LI mean?
Oh, left inside linebacker.
Inside side. Tate Crowder, Devontae Downs, and Ryan Anderson.
Tate Crowder, another Georgia guy. He was Mr. Last pick in the draft, and look where he is now, starting the NFL, because he picked up. I think he returned a fumble last year against somebody, and he played well. So hopefully, again, he took advantage of his opportunity, and now he's starting the NFL.
Right inside linebacker: Blake Martinez, Reggie Ragland, very good, and Carter Coughlin.
Alabama, there we go. Roll Tide. Might as well throw that out there. But yeah, Blake Martinez, tackle machine. Reggie Ragland. As far as him, good backup. At this point in his career, and if the other kid doesn't do his job on the other side, he can always flip and put him on the other side with Blake Martinez.
SLB linebacker. What does S mean?
Strong side linebacker or Sam linebacker.
Okay, you got Ashane Jimenez, Assis Ohilari, Nichols Lejos, and Ellerson Smith.
Well, the last guy, Ellerson Smith, he's a 4th round pick from Northern Iowa. He's been MIA for a long time. He hasn't practiced. He has, whatever. We don't know what he can do. Nicholas Lalos, whatever his name is, he's a good friend with what's his name? LeBron James. I think he went to high school, or he went to the same high school with him, and he's a playmaker. Even though he was an undrafted guy, he's a player. So you got to keep your eye on him. The Ojulari is their second round pick. That he should have been a 1st round pick, but he fell to the second round, and he's a good pickup. But he's another Georgia guy. And Exemini, he's another guy. He was hurt last year, but right now they have him starting. But the other kid is going to come on, Ojulari, or I wouldn't be surprised if the Nikos was a starter eventually.
Nichols Lalos, interesting. Left cornerback James Bradbury, Josh Jackson, Madre Harper, Sam Beal, and Aaron Robinson.
Aaron Robinson has been out sick, injured, or whatever's going on with him. Sam Beal's going to get cut finally. He's been there 3 years. Hurt, COVID. He's been a mess since he's been there. Bradbury is probably one of the top 5 cornerbacks in the NFL.
Let's see here. Do we go there? Right cornerback, Adoree Jackson, Holmes, Keon Crossan, and Rodarius Williams. I've been hearing news about Kyron Crossan was traded in, wasn't he, recently?
Yeah, he just traded the other day. They picked him up. They swapped the other guy that they had.
Yeah.
And supposedly he's supposed to be like a good special teams guy. So we'll see. But Rodarius Williams was having a good camp until he went and played against the Jets the other day, and they targeted him like the whole game. This kid, he was like this. I think he was like a 6 or 7 round pick. He was getting roasted all game long. So he's like kind of on the fence, like he might get kind of cut maybe or practice squad.
Interesting. We'll see. Strong safety: Jabril Peppers, Julian Love, Quincy Wilson, Montre Hartage, and Chris Johnson.
Jabril Peppers playing for a contract. So we'll see if he comes out the gate this year. He's Graham, great defensive coordinator. They finally got somebody to move this guy around, and where they can use his talent. And of course, he's a Jersey guy.
Dirty Jersey. And then full safety is what FS means.
Yep, free safety. Yes,
free safety. Crap. Logan Ryan and Xavier McKinney.
Logan Ryan is the captain of the defense. He is the guy, but Xavier McKinney is coming on strong. Another Alabama guy. Oh my God, they're killing me.
Interesting. Well, anyways, that's the offense and the defense, base defense of the New York Giants, and we're hoping for the best for the Giants, looking good. And this other segment, we're going to segue in. We're going to talk about we're going to talk with a Cowboy fan and a Washington football fan.
Oh, here we go.
And we're going to debate, or we're going to figure out who's the best team in the NFC East. And join us from Canada, Jeff Jishnock, and then Aaron.
Cowboys!
And Aaron Washington.
How about them Cowboys?
Oh,
you're interrupting me watching Hard Knocks. I hope you guys realize this.
Hey.
Byron Jones, former Cowboy? Byron Jones?
Huh? That was
former Cowboy? That's the only reason I said I would do the show. It's because former Cowboy.
Guy.
Who's that guy? Oh, my God.
Byron Jones used to play for the Minnesota
What
Vikings.
are you? Oh, my God.
Hey, Aaron, how you been? Welcome to the Sports Guys.
Pretty good.
Boy Sports
Thanks for having me.
You didn't know I was going to be on, did you?
No, I did not. I wouldn't have signed up for this.
I asked him not to tell you because he messaged me and I said, hey, my friend, are you getting him on? He goes, yeah. I said, well, don't tell him. Don't tell him I'm going to be on. And he said to me in a private chat, he goes, yeah, some Cowboys fan.
So this is the first time you guys are on the same show.
You know what?
Well, we've been on other shows before with non-sports related.
Okay, so more like the gaming. Anyways,
Yeah.
Byron Jones, he's a big Giants fan. Of course, we got Jeff, who's a big Cowboys fan, and we got Aaron, who's a big Washington football. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know we had Jeff earlier this past week, but Aaron, tell us a little bit about you and your history with Washington.
I've been a Washington fan since I was pretty much born. I think it's in my DNA. As a kid growing up, the one thing I remember is when I'm at my grandpa and grandma's, my grandmother is screaming at the top of her lungs at the TV when they were not doing what they were supposed to, as if the players could hear her. And it didn't matter if we were at RFK or if we were at home. The volume level was, if you interrupted her, all you got was a death stare that would put you 6 feet under. So, but I was, my grandpa introduced, I've met Daryl Green. I met all of Sonny Jurgensen and Sam, all of them, all the greats.
And Jeff, tell us your brief bio of how you became a Cowboys fan and all that jazz.
We talked for Byron and I guess Aaron. I think I've told you this before. Growing up in the 70s, my older brother was a Steelers fan, and so when you're the little brother, what team are you going to root for in the 70s when your older brother is a Steelers fan? You're going to, of course, be. Now I'm not. I had to sit outside tonight because my sons are down in our man cave, and normally you can see my Roger Staubach jersey behind me. My signed Roger Staubach jerseys. You can usually see it behind me, but I'm outside tonight because I've been banished outside and you can see my outside light because my kids are downstairs playing video games in the man cave, and so here I am. But I do have the preseason game on the phone. Well, I guess we can't show that. You'll get banned from copyright
everywhere. Yeah,
you'll get banned from everywhere. But I have a question for Aaron.
Shoot.
Who's going to be your starting quarterback? And since neither of them have ever led a team to the playoffs, what makes you think? Actually, I guess because technically for both of you, because my quarterback has led us to the playoffs. What makes you think the second-year guy, third for my friend down here, my new friend Byron, and the 16-year veteran who's never taken a team to the playoffs? Why is it this year?
The talent. Look at the talent that Fitzpatrick has with him.
He's never had talent.
Terry McLaurin is a beast. We all know that. Look what he's done with the offense he's been given. And now he's got an established quarterback, a veteran quarterback that can actually throw and play the game. Not let's flip-flop between 3 different quarterbacks and hope for the best.
Okay, let's put the brakes on this, right? I'm gonna attack the Cowboy fan. How's Dak's chicken wing, man? How's his arm? How's his arm?
Arm is fine. MRI.
How's his arm?
You'll find out. You'll find out when he rips you guys for 600 yards passing. Zeke runs for 300. Oh, you'll see.
First,
is he going to be?
I'm just going to let his arm and Zeke's legs.
Zeke's legs.
If those guys are going to be
watch Hard Knocks next week. You'll see.
I'll watch when they get injured.
How's Tyron? Is his back okay? Tyron Smith's back okay?
He's fine.
Okay.
They're all good. Yep, he's all good.
That's okay. His arm, the chicken wing is okay. Even though my
quarterback can run the length of the field and not pass out, as he gets, down, after 20 or 30 yards, like Daniel Jones.
Well, he was running so fast he outran himself. That's what happened. And the line
he was running fast.
Very fast.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So
you've lost complete control of the show now.
Sort of. So Byron, tell me, what is your honest opinion over the NFC East, and what order will be finished off by? What order will be?
The Giants first, Washington Redskins second, Dallas Cowboys third, Philadelphia Eagles fourth.
Interesting, Jeff.
So I don't no offense, Byron. I'm sorry. I just met you, but I don't think Daniel's the guy. So I think you'll be last. Second place is gonna come down between Washington and Philadelphia. Philadelphia has a new coach. They've got, they've got a new quarterback. Okay, I'm calling Hurts new. Yes, he played near the end of the year. I understand that.
But he's already hurt.
So what's his name? I know. If they had drafted, Jimmy Healthy, then they would have been, So yeah, we'll have to just see. I think it will be the Redskins second, because I agree with Aaron. They have good talent on their team. If Dak stays healthy and our offensive line, I'm not worried about him throwing the ball. It's his leg. Let's see if there's any remnants of that injury from last year. I think from what I've seen, he looks good. I'm not worried about him throwing the ball because of that guy behind you. Now, I have to disagree with what you said earlier. I think you do have to draft Saquon in fantasy. Maybe not as your RB1 and RB2, but if he's still there in the mid rounds, I'm going to take him, and I'll put him on. I'll keep him there, and depending on the matchup, and depending on if he's healthy, I may put him in as an RB2. I think you have to have him. Because we don't know what he's going to be like. Is he going to bounce back? He may bounce back and run for 2,000 yards this year. We don't know, right? So I think if he's there in a mid round, I think depending on what else you're doing, Aaron, what do you think? Fantasy wise, Saquon.
Fantasy wise,
let's assume he's healthy.
If he's healthy, you take him. But it's going to be a hit or miss, because if is he going to be on par, or is he going to still have? Is he going to show rust from not playing? It really doesn't matter. But it does. I mean, regardless, you're going to take him. I mean, that's just that would be a given. I would automatically take him if he was available.
Yeah. Well, Aaron, to get back to you, what order do you think the NFC East will be finished by the end of the season?
I mean, obviously, it's going to be the Redskins are going to be number one. That's a given with the talent. I'm going to put the Giants at number two, just because I'm not. They've got some talent there, and I don't trust Dallas at all. Dallas is going to sit at number three, and of course, the Eagles are. They're going to be right at the bottom of the barrel, where they're already showing how they are in preseason. I don't put any faith in Jalen Hurts. He's going to. I think it was just it was no different than when they had their last superstar take over for Wentz and then traded him away, and we see that was just a fluke.
What are the chances, guys, that Joe Flacco will be starting this season? Anyone?
I would not count him out as the starter. I could see it. There's a very good. He's got nothing to lose at this point. He's already he didn't stand too well in Denver, and you're going up against a younger kid. Yeah, but he's got the experience with him. If he can hone in and get back to his old Baltimore ways, he stands a great chance of being the starter.
Byron?
Around here, and I hear it all the time, these people are riding with Jalen Hurts. They believe in him, around here. Flacco's another Jersey guy. He's from right across the bridge over here at Audubon, New Jersey. And, they're happy that, he's a second, second string quarterback. But, around here, they're riding with Jalen Hurts. That's all I hear from the 900 people that live around here that are Eagle fans, and they're riding with him.
Jeff?
If the coach had drafted him, I would agree with Byron, because then he's your guy. You drafted him. You're going with him. The coach inherited him, right? So are they gonna stick him out, or if they start losing, those Eagle fans, they're crazy. And this is coming from a Canadian, so I have no ill will. But those, do you disagree? Anybody disagree? Those Eagle fans, I think they're going to start clamoring for something, even if it's going and getting Nick Foles back.
after Wentz was their savior, and look how quickly that turned out for him.
They turned on him quick.
So it'll be no if Jalen doesn't perform the way that they want, they will turn on him in a heartbeat.
I think
that's the Philly way.
Now, you guys, Jeff mentioned about Nick Foles, and I've been hearing Deshaun Watson. Is that a possibility the Eagles will make a move there?
No, maybe Foles. I don't see anybody going after Watson.
Yeah, he's got a lot of Eagles.
It's one thing when like the Eagles went after like Vic. There's the baggage that Watson's got currently that I don't know any team that's going to want to deal with that right now. That's a whole lot of drama that you're bringing into a team, especially if you're trying to go for a championship and you don't want that.
And they in the Vic era, they didn't have the rules that they have in place now, right? So, and as I said on the show Monday, until it's all that court stuff is settled out, I've seen some people say that he may not play even next year. Watson, just because it may take.
I'm surprised he's playing net. I'm surprised he's able
practicing.
to now.
He can under the rules. He can under the rules for now. The way the rules are structured, he can. They're still investigating.
If the FBI gets involved, it's bad.
How bad can it get, Byron?
It can get very bad. You figure out most staffs, they do have guys that are either retired FBI agents. They know the majority of what these guys are doing. On every team, they have somebody either retired FBI or Secret Service or state police or whatever on all these things. So they know, they have hooks, in the federal government that they can pick up the phone. Hey, how bad is this? Oh, this is awful. We got this, we got that. And it could get pretty hairy real quick for them.
Who is the best running back right now in the NFC East? Jeff.
I don't see anybody else repping their jersey. I'm just saying. I don't see anybody else. I don't see anyone else with
I can't go with any one person with Washington just because they've been utilizing.
It's gonna be running back by committee.
Gibson's been doing is done well. I'm just saying they're utilizing all of them. They're not just focused on one primary running back. So you can't really pick one of them when they're if they've got four backs, they're using all of them and they're all performing well. I mean, right now,
it also depends. It also depends on who does well in practice that week, right? So one may surface higher than the other, right?
The fact that they've got so much depth on the chart when it comes at the running back game and the receiving game, I can't pick one on there. If I'm gonna nail one down, and Phillies, I don't know much on Philly because I don't follow them enough to care.
Do they have running backs, Byron?
Miles Sanders,
yeah.
Yeah,
He can't be the best running back in the NFC East.
If our offensive line plays like our offensive line, then it will be Zeke. If Saquon is healthy, then he will be up there. If one person sort of floats to the top and starts doing well, they will then lean on that one in Washington. If not, then it's going to be running back by committee. So it's a hard question to answer because there's too many variables at the moment.
Byron?
I got another question for Mr. Cowboy. I'm just going to blow it up again. Here we go.
All right.
Who's your number one receiver?
Amari.
You sure?
Yeah.
Bet money on that?
Yeah.
He's not being the little diva now and everything, because that's not, I heard, the little diva stuff is going on with him right now. And that,
did you see him? Did you see him in practice coaching up CD?
Yeah.
Ask me that in a year or two. I think CD is going to pass him. But I think CD Lamb is going to have a breakout year, and you're going to forget about Gallup, and he's just going to be wide open. And right, and if you're going to try to cover those guys, then Zeke is going to go nuts on you. So right? Our bigger, Amari Cooper is our number one.
He's your number one guy.
Yeah.
You don't think CD Lamb is right now?
No.
Even though
I would have said CD Lamb.
A little bit more comfortable with CD Lamb.
It's only his second year. He's still learning things. He's still figuring it out. Amari is the veteran. Amari can can see the defense. He'll see the same thing Dak is seeing, and he will get open.
But do you think
Give CD another year or two to understand? Right? He only had a few games with Dak, and then he had the rotating quarterbacks.
But do you think it has a lot to do with the $20 million a year that Amari's getting?
Nope.
Nothing to do with it. Nope. I was just checking. You know?
That's a good question. That's a great question. That's a great question. I like all three of our receivers. I think I'll put our I'll put our 5 skilled guys against any other team's 5 skilled guys.
Well, according to my
I'm
list,
not even talking tight end. And
I have a list, and according to my list, I have the Dallas Cowboys are number 4 as far as duo with Dak and the receivers and the tight ends. I ranked them number 4.
And who's number 1?
Tampa Bay.
Who's number 2?
Oh man. So I got this off the top of my head. Tampa.
Oh, I thought you had a list in front of you. I thought you had a list in front of you.
I know one is Tampa. That's who I picked. Because Tampa's got.
I would put Green Bay. If you're talking 1, 2. No, I thought you were talking. I thought you were talking.
Green Bay on your list, Byron.
I thought you were talking quarterback receiver combo.
I don't have it handy right now.
Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. I put them above
2.
What was the question? What are we?
Who is the best duo? As far as quarterback, receiver, and tight end group in the NFL.
Oh, I missed that. I apologize. Okay, I apologize. I didn't hear the tight end. I just thought you said duo, and I thought you were talking quarterback receiver.
Quarterback receiver and tight end. I misspoke. Who do you think?
Has to be the Bucs number 1, Jeff.
Tampa Bay by far.
Yeah, there's no question.
By far.
Aaron, and of course you could also jump in if you want and name the top 4.
Kansas. I was gonna say Kansas City is up there. KC's up there, but the with the Bucs, if all of them healthy, that's a hard one. I don't know anybody else besides.
Kansas City, like Travis Kelce and
Tyreek Hill,
and Mahomes can win the game by himself. Well,
not against the Bucs last year.
And who's 3 and 4 for you, Byron?
Tennessee Titans. And
at the Cowboys.
Cowboys up there. Cowboys are top. And Cleveland Browns.
How about you, Jeff?
With David Njoku at the tight end spot?
Yep.
And which receiver? Or are you going both the receivers?
Both the receivers.
And Odell's going to be healthy?
He's going to be healthy.
Odell's going to be back to Odellness?
He's going to be back. Top five, 6.
And I have the article being pulled up right now, so I'm going to read this out for you guys. No, I don't.
Thank God we got somebody that can use Google. God,
I don't have it pulled up.
Thank God someone knows how to use Google. I'm watching.
Email.
Flacco's in right now for the Beagles.
He already messed up earlier.
Yeah.
How about you, Aaron? Tell me, your top 4 duos.
Oh, obviously the Bucs, the Chiefs, Tennessee's definitely in that one. Just given how well they performed even last year and the year before. Number 4, as much as I cringe saying it, talent-wise, I would lean towards the Cowboys, which is an awful thing for me to say.
I can't believe you're saying that.
Neither can I. That's why I'm gonna have to go brush my teeth after this.
What about the Rams now that they got Stafford?
That I don't see that. No way. I don't see that that's going to change anything.
Even with the
Stafford's
got
to stay. Is he going to stay healthy all season? I mean, I know he's good, but
are going to be
able to and that's the other thing. They're not. They can't rely on him the whole thing. He already did that in Detroit. The Lions literally had to carry them.
Yeah, I don't think he'll have to do that in LA. What about Justin Herbert? I think he's going to have he had a breakout year last year. I think he's going to do better this year. I think we're sleeping on Justin Herbert. I think he's going to have a breakout year. Baltimore with Lamar and what they, and do you think Najee is going to take the Stellars to the next, because they were always,
they got a 40-year-old quarterback now.
Is Lamar can he throw the ball
More than 50 yards?
Yeah.
Does he have to throw the ball?
If they shut his running game down and they shut the overall team running game down, what are they going to do? Throw 15-yard passes and try to win a game? It's not going to happen.
So I got the list, Byron. Is it this one where it's like the number 1 is the Bucks, 2 Chiefs, 3 is the Bills?
Yep.
Oh, the Bills.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Hey, they're right over there. I can see the Bills state. I can see the Bills from, you guys can see Russia from Alaska. I can see Buffalo from my roof. Not really, but
well, I can. The only thing I can see is if I drive 2.5 hours, I can drive to go to the Viking Stadium.
There we go.
Yeah, and then you got 5 Tennessee Titans.
Minnesota way too high.
Oh.
I just have no faith in Kirk Cousins. Sorry, Aaron.
So 5 Titans.
I'm not disagreeing on that one because I don't think he's going to last. I think he'll be Arizona's going to be interesting. That one I agree. That's going to be an interesting one. If they're 2 top receivers, if they get along, if they can coexist, that's going to be a heck of a.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I would put Cincinnati with Burrow there because Burrow's how is he going to be? I know he's claiming he's going to be back. He's back to his old self. But what Burrow are we going to get?
I think. Can you move it over?
To the right or left?
To the left.
Tight ends?
No, the other way, the right.
The way, okay. So you got the quarterbacks, wide receiver, and wide receiver 2.
There you go, all of it right there.
So so for quarterback,
Byron
has Tom Brady, Mahomes.
That's why I said the Chargers. I said the Chargers because look, you got Keenan Allen, they got Mike Williams. I think the Chargers were going to surprise a lot of people.
If the God, I would keep the Vikings at 8, but if they had a better quarterback, I don't know. Cousins,
that's right.
He reminds me so much. I mean, he can have a great game, and then it goes downhill afterwards. It's like watching Rex Grossman with the Bears.
Wow,
great game, 1 or 2 good games, and then I'm sorry, I'm just saying because he looked great. He looked great on paper for 2 years in Washington, but they played the offensive coordinator at the time made him look that good. He was a mediocre quarterback that was made to look like a 5-star, like a Tom Brady, and he is not. He never was. He was, and that's just how when he got drafted. I was dumbfounded when the Vikings took him because it was based off of 2 years of performance by an offensive coordinator that left and went to become a head coach.
They're calling Emmanuel Sanders the.
Okay, so for all the podcast listeners, here's the list that Byron put a couple weeks ago. Top wide receiver group with quarterback, wide receiver, and tight end. Buccaneers, number 1, 2 Chiefs, 3 the Bills, 4 Cowboys, 5 Titans, 6 Cardinals, 7 Chargers, 8 Vikings, number 9 Ravens, 10 Rams, 11 Packers, 12 Seahawks, 13 Browns, 14 Steelers, 15 Bengals, 16 Raiders. Any of you guys have any opposition for this list?
Canadian Chase Claypool got hurt this week, so we'll have to see how that plays out over the rest of the preseason.
Aaron,
I would put Baltimore.
The Bengals is going to be the
Bengals.
Baltimore. I would put Baltimore above the Vikings. I don't know with Cousins because he's not a reliable source. And the Bengals, I don't even know if I would put the Bengals because of Burrow. I'm not 100% sure what Burrow are the Bengals getting. That one's that's iffy. Same with the Packers. How well is Rodgers really going to be? Is he going to be his little drama queen self? And when he doesn't get his way, I'm done. I don't want to play right now.
No,
he's
hit the thing. That's it. He is now lightning focused. Super Bowl or bust. He will take that team he will try and get that team. I can see them in the NFC Championship game again.
And Byron, can you see the Ravens going over the Vikings? Do you think that's a possibility?
Nope.
Yes.
Nope.
Jeff, what else
Kirk
would
Cousins-
you do in these changes?
Kirk Cousins. I agree with Aaron. Kirk Cousins is the wild card, and I just don't think I would even. I would move the. I think I would move. I would move the Packers up solely on those the QB and the wide receiver.
One guy.
There is a great YouTube video out about Alan Lazard.
Rodgers has a good arm. When Rodgers is on par, he's
Yes.
he's unstoppable. I have to. I mean,
Correct.
I can't stand him because he's a whiny little snot
You
when
know
he
what?
throws his tantrums. But he's got talent. I can't stand the team as a whole, but he's got a heck of a lot of talent. I give him credit when he shows up to play. That's a hard team to beat.
Yes, 100%. I agree. That's why I
the
would move them
Ravens.
up.
The Ravens. Jackson's going to be their wild card as well because can you throw the ball? You cannot. A running quarterback. They can't rely on him to run the ball every game. It's just, you're not going to win a championship that way. He's got to be able to throw, and if he can't, they need to move on and find someone that can do a balancing act, throw and run.
They're not going to do. No, they're going to live in that by Jackson.
Well, yeah, they're stuck with that, but they're not going to go anywhere.
Well,
I think we all agree with the
hurt.
top
like
four.
Sammy Watkins is always hurt, and then Bateman is hurt now with Baltimore. I think he had like a groin injury or whatever, so he's going to be out for a while. So I would just leave. I'm personally going to leave them right where they are for now.
Interesting.
Three. I think it's a three-way tie between 3, 4, and 5. Again, I think you could. I think those three are 1 and 2. Yes. Although I think Kansas City 1, Tampa Bay 2, but 3, 4, and 5 I think are tied for number 3, just because each different skill group has something a little bit different, right? I think Dak's better than Prescott, but I think with AJ and Julio that might be a little better than Amari and Michael. But then you've got the running back.
Josh Allen's been getting better with each
Josh
season.
Allen
So
yeah, but is Cole Beasley gonna make the team?
What do you mean? Because of the vaccine?
Yeah.
You think
Is Cole
he can be
Beasley
cut?
gonna still be on the team?
Yes.
That's right, because the Bills have that rule for the team policy. Holy crap.
Yeah, so that's the question. Would they cut ties with Cole Beasley because of his stance on vaccination?
Now, can he get traded or can he get signed somewhere else if he does get cut or he's a
if
free
he
agent?
gets cut if he gets cut and clears waivers, then yes, he would be a free agent. He could sign somewhere else. But he's very outspoken. I think he's a former Cowboy. But I think he might be a little toxic.
Would he go back to Dallas?
No.
I'm surprised peer pressure didn't get to him as far as these guys in the NFL. That these guys.
Well, look at Kirk Cousins. Cousins isn't getting the vaccine either, and he's already made that perfectly clear. He's refusing to get it.
Minnesota has no team policy. Hey,
they don't. So, but I mean, it does. I mean, regardless of whatever Cousins says, he'll be on his way out. I could see them cutting ties with Cousins at the end of the season and going after Teddy, bringing back Bridgewater.
I don't know where he is in his contract, so that would be depending on his contract situation. I may or may not disagree with Aaron on that, only because I don't know what his contract. I don't know the cap hit. I don't know the particulars of his contract. So if it's a big, huge cap hit, then I may disagree with that. But if it's a moderate or no cap hit, then I would probably agree.
Byron Jones.
I just don't have the data.
Yeah, he probably. Yeah. Depends, like you said, depends on the cap hit. If it's a big hit, he'll still be there. If it's something a little bit, out the door he goes. If he doesn't, do his thing this year.
I have a friend. I'm going to call him a friend. He's actually a guy that watches my video gaming streams on YouTube Gaming. He's actually joining. And some of you guys don't know this. One of you does. I'm a couple friends of ours, including Aaron. We're doing a little fantasy football league. And he's actually going to be participating in that. He's from Arizona. He's a huge Cardinals fan, like me and Aaron. He's been a Cardinals fan since he was little. His name's Eric. Just so when you see him in the league, Aaron. But he's a big Cardinals fan, and so he comes into my Facebook streams and we talk Cardinal football. And he started watching my old Madden streams. That's how we became friends on Facebook. But he's a big Cardinals fan, and so it will be interesting to see how that plays out he's already predicting them to win the division.
Who do you think will win the
KP
NFC West? Who do you think will win the NFC West, Jeff? Can't be the Niners.
No, can't be. No, it won't be the Niners.
No,
Sorry,
no
Ray.
way.
Sorry, Ray. Aaron and I have
No
a friend,
way.
Ray, who's a big 49er fan.
I'm taking the 49ers.
You think so? With Trey Lance?
Going 40.
I think so.
Oh, well, wait. With who? Who's the quarterback?
Jimmy G.
That's safe.
No way. No way.
Aaron, who won the NFC West? Aaron,
My money's on. No, I don't see the Rams. I would almost Cardinals.
Yeah.
Seattle,
Arizona's
Jeff?
got a pretty.
go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say Arizona's got it. Got it. I think they're gonna have the lock in it. I don't see anybody else trying to compete. I mean, there might be Seattle could give them a run. The Rams maybe, but Matthew Stafford's going to get injured at some point, and then it's going to go downhill.
Well, now, see, I was going to say, don't count out Russell or don't count out Matthew.
Who has the best defense though in the Western Conference though? That where it might all fall. Who's stopping?
True. It is true.
Isn't Seattle built up this summer?
It's not that anymore. San Francisco.
No, they don't have the Legion of Boom anymore.
San Francisco has the best defense.
So, Jeff, who's your final verdict for the NFC West? Seems like you're kind of puzzled there. You don't want to say Arizona, but it sounds like you're leaning towards that.
I am. I'm leaning toward Arizona, but with an asterisk because I just don't know. We don't know what Matthew Stafford's going to do.
Well, everyone's saying he's going to get injured.
Right? He could be
injured eventually.
Again, I always assume that I never take. Oh, he could get injured. Everybody could get injured. I don't.
Yeah. Jeff froze.
Tom Brady could get injured. Like I don't factor that into my decisions. I don't.
Tom Brady
factor
plays
in,
injured.
Okay, if they were injured, I'm assuming they're coming
Brady
back.
played
out.
an entire season
Like
injured and won a
Saquon,
Super
I'm
Bowl.
assuming-
With an MCL tear, man. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that.
I'm assuming Saquon is coming back 100%. Right? I know, Byron. I heard what you said earlier about him, and you thought he's going to maybe play 12 games. But I until proven otherwise, until I see something, I assume everyone is going to be healthy and at 100% if they're playing because they have the best people working on them, making them healthy.
All right, I'm gonna throw this out here for my Washington guy. Who has the best defense in the conference?
And the best which one?
In the Eastern Division, who has the best defense?
NFC East.
NFC East.
NFC East.
Washington at the moment.
Washington. I'm going to go with Washington, but the amount of talent Chase Young is is enough to hold the front line, and they've been picking up pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Rivera was probably the best thing that Snyder could have done, and Snyder taking a back seat and allowing the head coach to actually run the team.
Yep.
That was the key right there. Was Snyder going away, because if Snyder had still had control, we'd still be watching. It'd be no different than Jerry Jones running the show, and Washington still be getting.
What's that like to have an owner that steps away and lets the coaches coach and GMs GM? What's that like? I wouldn't know.
We brought a Donovan McNabb in, and people like that, the past their prime.
Byron remembers that.
Based on last year, Washington. But I think some of the players we've picked up, including Canadian Brent Urban, and we,
Here we go.
Our solid draft. I think we will be better this year. We can't be worse than last year, dude. We can't be worse.
Just because you have Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator from the Legion of where he came from, Legion of.
We were 31st last year. We can't be worse. I didn't say the best. I said we will be better because we can't be worse.
It's possible.
I really don't think so.
All right, guys, we got to wrap up the show.
So, I was going to ask about Trevor Lawrence.
Go ahead. We'll finish without that.
I was just gonna ask. I know you guys got to go. I was just gonna say, what are your thoughts on Trevor Lawrence, or even spread that out to Zach Wilson, or even Trey, or even Justin Fields?
So you want the rookies?
Which rookie quarterback is going to be the one we're talking about at the end of the year?
That's a good question. Aaron, you first.
I think it's still. I'm going to probably say Trevor Lawrence. I don't, just because I don't think it's going to be the Bears. The Bears, the only thing we'll be talking about is another failed season. So I don't see them doing anything. I mean, they'll do the typical Bears thing, start getting everybody's hype up and then collapse. Jacksonville, I think they're going to be the team to watch. They've been, I think they're going to be the underdog team to watch. That it was no different than watching the Browns. The Browns came out of nowhere and started turning around once they got the pieces together. And Jacksonville's going to do the same thing. I think we'll be talking about Trevor Lawrence and what he's done to turn that team around.
Mr. Byron Jones.
Justin Fields. I think he's going to do his thing in Chicago when he finally gets a chance. You know, he probably won't start off the season, but they're going to put him in there, and he's going to show people that he should have been in the conversation as far as one of the top 5 quarterback coming out. As far as
For my Aaron and I have a friend Ray. I'm just gonna, for our friend Ray, who I think is one, I am going to say Trey Lance, just because I think, and I'm going to just go against 5 minutes ago. I don't know if Jimmy G will last the season. I hope he does. He has a good season. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I don't want anyone to get injured. I hate that. But again, if he doesn't perform, I think that they will be for Trey, and then I think he will do okay.
Well, there you have it. Rookie quarterbacks. I am going to tilt towards Trey Lance with the Niners as well. Trevor Lawrence, not this year, but I think he'll do well in the next couple of seasons. So we'll see what happens. But wow, this has been a great episode talking about the Cowboys, Washington football team, and of course Niners. I mean the Giants. We just needed an Eagle fan, but Byron could take that over. Byron, read us out the Gary Sinise Foundation.
Freedom and security are precious gifts that we as Americans should never take for granted. We must do all we can to extend our hand in times of need to those who willingly sacrifice each day to provide this freedom and security. While we can never do enough to show gratitude to our nation's defenders, we can always do a little more. Gary Sinise Foundation.
Beautiful.
Check out the Gary Sinise Foundation. And Jeff,
Aaron,
go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, in case you don't know, Aaron is a U.S. military veteran. So shout out to Aaron.
Thanks for sharing.
I'm in another country, but shout out to Aaron. Aaron and I disagree on many things, but we have a good mutual respect, especially in some of the, you can't leave some of the gaming conversations him and I've had. But I'm a big fan of Aaron.
Served in the military too, and law enforcement for 25 years.
Nice.
We got some great men on this show. Aaron, tell the audience what's the best way to reach you online.
Best way to reach me is Twitter, VetCloud Gaming, or on YouTube. That's where you guys can anybody can catch me 5 days a week. But if you want to get a hold of me, the best way is Twitter.
Jeff Jishnak.
In case you now see, this is one of the rare times Aaron will tell you that I don't have one of my official branded shirts on, but this was a special occasion. So I went repping the Cowboys. But yes, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and everything. That's my handle. You can find there. Does it look right? It looks backwards to me, but maybe it's right to you guys.
No, it looks great. Looks great.
Right,
Jeff
perfect,
Jishnak
perfect.
on
but
all
yes,
the
Aaron will tell you he's never seen me not in that. This is one of the few times Aaron's probably seen me not in my branded shirt. So,
and
guys,
Byron.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. No,
I was just going to thank you guys for having me on.
Oh, Jeff, you've been great. Two appearances in a week. That's a Sportscast record, possibly. Byron, any closing words before we sign off?
Let's don't forget the soldiers, that flew into Afghanistan, to help with that situation, that is developed, with the fall of that government. We want all of, our guys to come back, one piece, and, just God bless them and, come back safely.
Absolutely. And here at the Sportscast, you can reach us at the Sportscast1 on Twitter and website, thesportscast.net. Maybe in a few weeks, we'll have a NFL Big Show preview. So we could definitely forecast what's going to happen. Of course, you guys mentioned from Matthew Stafford to Trey Lance, so anything could happen in the next couple of weeks.
It's gonna be a good year. It's gonna be a very interesting good year to see. There's a lot of new faces. There's a lot of moving parts. Is Jared Goff gonna just on the new team? Is he just gonna go crazy and bring Detroit to newfound winning? I don't know.
And also, we'll see more fans in stadiums.
Yeah.
So that could make a difference for Washington.
Yeah.
Maybe Washington. Are they going to get a name? I understand. I know
they've narrowed it down. They've narrowed. Yes, everyone knows what I would prefer it to be. It's not going to happen, but I do know they've narrowed it down to 3 from what I've heard.
Have they? Okay.
But they're not going to make the announcement until probably after the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
At least that's what I've been reading, is that they want to get it done next year. My guess is it'll be after the Super Bowl, before the draft.
What are the 3 options?
I didn't catch what they were. I know there were like a list of 40, and it was all of these different sites. They had like 40 different. But the last I read, when it was down to the 3, the team president didn't list what they were, and I think that's what I have been hearing, that they weren't going to even announce it until after they got the trademark done, because they've been having issues with trademark issues.
Yeah,
and I heard one of them was the Warriors.
Didn't someone go register a bunch of names that they heard? Yeah, so I think that would make sense that they wouldn't. Why would they leak that?
Anyways, what a good night. NFC East representing minus Eagles, but maybe we'll get an Eagles fan next time. Anyways, guys, it was great talking to you guys. Jersey Boys Sports Talk signing off. Have a good night.
Good night.
All right.